Is perfect grammar necessary? That's a topic that a lot of people disagree about. Let's talk about it in this video. I've been teaching English for over 30 years, and I'd like to share my opinion with you. We will also review the most common grammar mistakes that native speakers of English make. Do these mistakes matter? Are they a big deal? Do they affect people's professional success? I will discuss all of these topics in this video. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? You shouldn't focus so much on grammar when you're learning a language. It's not natural to learn a language by studying the grammar rules because little children learn to speak without learning grammar. What do you think about that? How about this statement? Everybody makes grammar mistakes. Native speakers of English make grammar mistakes too, so it's okay if I sometimes make them. We will explore these topics in this video. Some people say, don't be a grammar snob, or don't be the grammar police. It's okay if people make mistakes, but other people say, good grammar is very important. Everyone has an opinion about grammar. Some people have strong opinions about how language should be taught. I will give you 4 examples from my professional and personal life. There are 2 situations where excellent grammar is really important, and some situations where making some grammar mistakes is more acceptable. The first reason that you should have excellent grammar is for academic purposes. For academic purposes, correct grammar is a must. For many years, I used to teach English at Santa Monica College in Los Angeles. All of my students were international students. Students from all over the world come to Santa Monica College because their goal is to ultimately transfer to universities like UCLA, UC Berkeley, USC, and other American universities. I taught grammar and academic writing. Our job as English teachers was to prepare the students for academic success. So no matter what your college major is, you will be expected to communicate effectively during your university studies. Good grammar is required for academic assignments, essays, and research papers. It can impact your grades and your overall academic success. So, if you plan to attend a university in the United States or in any other English-speaking country, you will be required to have excellent grammar. Second, correct grammar is very important for professional communication. For the past 25 years, I've had a training center in Los Angeles called Accurate English, where we primarily teach the American accent to professionals and to actors in Hollywood. When my students practiced their work presentations with me, they asked me to not only correct their pronunciation mistakes, but to also correct their grammar. They were insecure not only about their accent, but about their overall English communication skills. And grammar is a big part of that. If you have academic or professional goals, make sure that you're working on improving your grammar skills. But how about native speakers? They make grammar mistakes, right? That's a very common argument. There's a very interesting article in the Harvard Business Review titled, "Good Grammar Should Be Everyone's Business." The author states the following: good grammar is instrumental in conveying ideas with clarity, professionalism, and precision. The article looked at 100 LinkedIn profiles of native speakers of English. It looked at their careers for the first 10 years. Here's what they found. Professionals with fewer grammar errors in their profiles achieved higher positions. Those who failed to progress to a director-level position within the first 10 years of their careers made 2.5 times as many grammar mistakes as their director-level colleagues. Fewer grammar errors correlate with more promotions. Professionals with 1 to 4 promotions over their 10-year careers made 45% more grammar errors than those with 6 to 9 promotions in the same time frame. Many employers in the United States expect you to have good grammar. But now, let's talk about some situations where having good grammar is less important. I'll give you another example from my teaching experience. Some of you already know that I used to be a French teacher. I used to teach a class for adults called French for Travelers. My students wanted to learn some basic French to communicate while they were on vacation in France. We learned about how to order in restaurants, how to ask for directions, and so on. I did teach them some grammar rules, of course, but grammar wasn't the major emphasis of the course. So when you're speaking English in casual situations, when you're chatting with your friends or when you're traveling, those situations don't necessarily require your grammar to be excellent. It's okay to make mistakes. The main goal is to be understood, so you see, it depends on your goal. What is your goal with learning English? Why are you studying English? How is it going to help you in your life? If you want to meet new people from different parts of the world when you're traveling or when you're chatting online, then speaking English with perfect grammar is not so important. But for professional reasons, correct grammar is important. Here are some quotes from articles giving advice about professional success. In professional settings, proper grammar is a must. Employers often consider it a reflection of your attention to detail, competence, and professionalism. And if you're looking for a job in the United States, here's another quote. Many employers prioritize candidates with strong grammar skills because they can trust them with tasks like report writing, client communication, and email correspondence. Yes, humans make mistakes. Even people with excellent grammar sometimes make mistakes. I think we shouldn't be the grammar police. And I think we shouldn't be afraid to speak because we might make a grammar mistake. It's important to have a balance. It's not helpful to have anxiety about it or to be afraid to open your mouth because you might make a grammar mistake. However, just because you make mistakes, you shouldn't give up. I believe you should still pursue excellence in your English communication skills, and that includes vocabulary, writing, and grammar. Your goal should be to keep improving your grammar skills to reach a level of excellence. Why settle for less? Why do you want to be okay with your mistakes just because some native speakers make grammar mistakes? When you're learning something, I believe a strong foundation of knowledge is really important. Here is a comment from a viewer of one of my pronunciation videos. He expressed this thought really well. He said, "I've learned that mastering fundamentals can make you the best in whatever you're doing. And that lesson has helped me enormously in every aspect of my life, and that includes English." As for people like me, who were never taught good pronunciation, such lessons are a breath of fresh air. He was talking about one of my English pronunciation lessons. So whether you're learning the correct pronunciation of English or the punctuation rules or grammar, it's valuable that you learn them well. By asking yourself the question, is grammar important? You are limiting yourself. You're saying, it's too difficult, so I shouldn't even try. I will never be good enough, so why try? Don't take the easy way out. Keep working on your grammar, and you'll get better and better, I promise you. Some people say that we shouldn't teach grammar, we shouldn't emphasize grammar in our English classes, because children learn naturally. You don't teach grammar to a baby, but they figure it out. But I disagree with that. It's been proven that adults learn language completely differently from children. Children's brains are still much more flexible, but after you are around the age of 9, 10, or 11, the brain changes, and you need a different learning style. And this is why people have an accent when they move to a country after puberty, after 11 or 12, but if you have children and they moved to the United States when they were 5, 6, or 7, they sound like Americans, right? Same thing for learning grammar. Adults ask questions. Adults want to know the rules, and adults should know the rules. And that way, when you say something, you know you're saying it grammatically correctly because you've studied the rule. I think that's a really important foundation to have. Now, let's talk about the most common types of grammar mistakes that native speakers are likely to make. And if you're a non-native speaker, you're less likely to make these types of mistakes, and I'll explain why. Using adjectives and adverbs incorrectly. For example, saying, he speaks English good, instead of, he speaks English well. Or, I wish I could speak as good as you. And it should be, I wish I could speak as well as you, because well is an adverb and it modifies the verb speak. Another common mistake is, please drive careful. How do we correct that mistake? You say it. Please drive carefully. We need an adverb. We need the ly. Or, please speak slow. That's incorrect. It should be, please speak slowly. Another type of mistake is a personal pronoun mistake. For example, using I instead of me or her instead of she. For example, he asked my friend and I to help him. Can you correct it? You try it. The correct answer is, he asked my friend and me to help him, because me is not the subject, it's the object, and I is the subject. So we can't say, he asked my friend and I. And you might hear some native speakers say, me and her went to the store. And that's not correct. Can you correct that one? She and I went to the store, because she and I are subjects. We can't say me and her. Another common type of mistake is to use the past simple form of a verb instead of the past participle. For example, I've never swam in this pool. That's not correct. It's swim, swam, swum. So we need to say, I've never swum in this pool. This type of mistake is especially common with modals. For example, you might hear someone say, he could have forgot. He could have forgot. And it should be, he could have forgotten. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Or, he could have sang a different song. Instead of, he could have sung a different song. Because it's sing, sang, sung. Other types of common mistakes that native speakers are likely to make are related to the fact that some grammar points are pronounced the same way. For example, with apostrophe S errors. Do we write my mother's house with an apostrophe S or with an S apostrophe? Which one is correct? The first one or the second one? The first one. Apostrophe S is for possessives. But how about this one? My parents' house. Do we put the apostrophe before the S or after the S? We put it after the S because parents is plural. How about this one? I'm going to my friend's house. Where should the apostrophe be? It depends. Usually before the S, but if two of your friends live in the same house, then it's plural. Then we put the apostrophe after the S. Some native speakers struggle with these types of things, and we can understand why. They learned to speak before they learned to write. But if you learned English as a second language in school, you're less likely to make these types of mistakes because you were learning to write English at the same time. And native speakers commonly confuse the spelling of homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same. Look at these two examples. How do we pronounce them? Should've, should've. They're pronounced exactly the same. The F of the word of is pronounced as the V sound, V. So, should've, should've. I've commonly seen this mistake. You should have called me. It should be, you should have called me. And in school, you learned have. But the first time a native speaker learned have, they heard it as of when they were learning how to speak. Should've, should've, should've. And other homophones, for example, there, and there. Did you know that these three words are pronounced exactly the same? He's over there. They're my friends. This is their house. Same pronunciation. And this is why native speakers sometimes misspell these words. But in general, native speakers who speak well and who write well are much less likely to make these types of mistakes. If you listen to a news presenter, for example, or a college professor giving a lecture, you'll notice that they rarely make this type of mistake. People often say, but native speakers make mistakes too. And I say, Why do you want to imitate someone who makes mistakes? People who speak well generally do not make mistakes. Maybe they're tired or they say something quickly and then they might make a mistake. Or they're choosing a more casual way of speaking, but they generally know that this is not the accurate way to speak. They're playing with language. They're being creative with language. And maybe you sometimes do the same thing with your native language. These people know how to speak correctly, and they would not speak that way at work or in other formal situations. Remember, you must know the rules in order to break them. So learn all the grammar rules. There is satisfaction in being good at something. Whatever it is, being a good photographer or an excellent cook. Don't limit yourself to doing only those things that are easy to do. Don't let your fear of grammar stop you. And don't play the old memories in your head. When you were in school, maybe you hated grammar or somebody told you that you were not a good student. But that was then and this is now. Stop telling yourself, I hate grammar or I'm terrible at grammar. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Thanks for watching and keep practicing. To get the 2 courses, the American Accent course and the 400 advanced words you must know for fluent English, go to accurateenglish.com.